Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Drexel Free Thought Society weekly podcast. The Drexel Free Thought Society is the only happily secular organization at Drexel University. We promote critical thought, the separation of church and state, positive atheism, and all those other various lines that I took from other podcasts. My name is Dave McDevitt. I'm the president of this organization, and this week we are doing Christian pop culture. The Christian right has been developing all sorts of fun little tactics and programs and nonsense of ways to enlist new people. And being the ever-creative groups they are, they've created some new movies, some new groups, and we're going to show at least two of them live on this show.
Really?
But you might not actually be able to hear it very well, internet people, but we definitely will, and what we hear is way more important. So before we do introductions or anything, I'm just going to play these videos. They're going to take like 10 minutes maybe.
Is this a trailer? Or?
This is The Thaw,
okay,
made
like
by
a
Reach America. People that are familiar with the atheist movement, or the Christian movement for that matter, will remember this. It came out a few weeks ago? Not weeks ago, a few months ago, honestly, at this point. But I find it hilarious.
I don't know this.
Why does it sound like the title you give a movie about global warming?
Anyway, everyone quiet?
Ice.
Watch.
It would be awesome if I could hear this girl.
No one likes a complainer, is he?
Izzy's awesome.
Turn up the volume on the TV.
Yeah, could you do that?
Oh, this video is from... I saw
Oh, here we go. Much better. Yay!
this music.
Christianity is being completely frozen out
No,
of
keep it
America.
this. He wants to get in there.
Why can't I pray in school?
Why do I have to check my religion at the door?
Why can't I write about God in my school papers?
Why do I have to tolerate people cursing my God, but I am not allowed to talk about God in my faith? Why are they taking God out of our history books? Why do they teach every other theory in science except creation?
Why am I called names because I believe in marriage the way God designed it? Some even call us hateful, hypocrites,
Unloving.
closed-minded, bigots.
Why can't Tim Tebow praise God after making a touchdown without causing a national uproar?
The football coach at Ridgeland High School in Georgia was investigated by the school board.
Did he abuse a student?
Is he a terrorist? He allowed local churches to feed his football team.
What?
In public school, I'm called lesbian
Or gay?
for not kissing before wanting to save myself for marriage.
In public school, dating is an obligation.
In public school, people are rude and disrespectful towards Christians.
Bullying is common.
What we see in our health classes
Sex education
4th grade and up.
is pornography.
People make fun of me because I don't believe in abortion.
In public school, people believe Christians are goody goods and boring.
Dirty jokes fill the hallways between classes.
During class,
Before school, at lunch, after school,
on the bus, off the bus. Get the idea? Despite modern popular belief, America was founded as a Christian nation. My grandparents tell me that the church used to be the center of the community.
In school, prayer and pledge to the flag was welcome and appreciated.
No one would dare not to stand, place their hand over their heart, and recite the pledge.
America was once a force for good.
America was once the hope for the world. What happened?
In 1962, the Supreme Court ruled that prayer was unconstitutional in schools.
In 1963, the courts ruled the Bible unconstitutional.
Saying that if the Ten Commandments were read in school,
A student might feel inclined to follow them.
Really?
for over 50 years, Christians have been unwilling to get involved. People who do not love our God have stolen our country. Jesus said we are salt and light.
Salt and light melt ice.
It is time for a thaw.
President Ronald Reagan called America a shining light on a hill, a beacon of hope for the world to see. We are going to let our little American lights shine.
Through the power of Jesus Christ, we proclaim today.
We refuse to be frozen out of the public square. Our voices will be heard. Let's reverse it. Fix it. We are going to turn it around. This is a call to our generation. We are calling on the youth of America to join us.
At Reach America, we are creating a Christ-centered counterculture, a C4 community.
A place filled with Christian teens on a mission to reach America and our friends for Christ.
Christ and our country matter to us.
At Reach America, we are learning to lead our generation.
We are servants, encouragers.
We are learning to hear God's voice and adjust our lives to His will.
God is changing our lives.
We are building life-changing relationships. We are a family. We are a team. We are an army.
Christ is our commander.
His will is our charge.
We are impacting our friends.
Our families, our community,
Our state, our country.
We are in a war for the hearts and souls of our generation.
And we know it.
Failure is not an option.
We are going to win this war.
If God be for us,
Who can be against us?
the thought has begun.
High school Christian teens
join us.
Join us! Join us at Reach America!
in the fight for our generation.
For our nation. For our future.
In America,
We still hold these truths to be self-evident.
that all men are created equal.
That they are endowed by their Creator.
With certain unalienable rights.
That among these are life,
Liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
join the movement at Reach America. Let's reach our communities.
Let's reach our states.
Let's reach America. Adults, please pray for us.
Support us.
And get involved. Together, looking to Christ as a strength, His all will be complete, and America will be one nation under God. Again.
Kind of funny how it fell at the end.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
Who
All
staged
right,
that?
I want to extremely note that we did not create this video. All credit goes to Reach America.
Wow.
No, this is a different video.
That was a bit,
First of all, I would love to say like how
thoughts.
epic the music was. Like, well, I knew that they were in a war. I mean, like,
could've been.
I mean, it had this like at the end. It had that like cult-like tone when they were saying like "Join us."
Join
Because
us.
it had to start with like 2 people. It's like join us, then 4 people join us, then a crowd join us.
Exactly.
Well,
It's like
also,
they're
I love-
demanding that you do.
I love how like most of the people are like teenagers, and then they have like this like 10-year-old.
The 10-year-old that was clearly looking at off screen for like half of the time while talking.
Go
Does that-
4th grade.
They were totally scripted.
Does
for that whole
anyone
thing.
else find it disconcerting that it's always about an army, a war, and the commander
Yes.
is...
Yes.
Have you read the
Kind
Old
of,
Testament?
yeah.
The God was based on a war patron who would help them in battle when all the tribes are sitting there smacking the crap out of each other.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's
it's not
what
gonna
the
be gonna
entire
shake
Bible
that.
is about, but it basically all this stuff that they're saying about, like, there's dirty jokes in the hallway, and like,
Oh,
why
it's
am I
baby.
called a bigot? Why am I called this and that? It's because you are a bigot, because you believe in this.
Wait a
I mean,
second.
it's just-
I think it's like they're just too sensitive. I mean, like this is modern life.
It's like these kids.
with
These
it.
kids are too sensitive.
Yeah, they're too sensitive.
The adults that indoctrinated them were too sensitive.
Yeah,
And
them
if you
too.
want to
They're
pray
not.
in school, you're technically allowed to pray in
Oh,
school.
yeah.
It's just not going
Okay.
to
It's
be
not
led
organized
by the
prayer.
teacher.
So here's a few things that I wrote down.
Okay.
We're not allowed to speak. Okay, here's several lies I wrote down. We are not allowed to pray in school. Yes, you are. We're not allowed to have the Bible in school.
Yes,
They didn't
you
say
are.
that
Yes,
directly,
you are.
but yes, you are. We're not allowed to talk about God. Yes, you are. You're not allowed to include God in your school papers. Yes, you are. Why is God not in our history books? Because he never was in there in the first place. Why can't Tim Tebow pray and cause a national uproar? Everyone agreed with him. Everyone was like, "Yeah, Tim Tebow, good job with that
I don't know who that
footballing."
That
Tebow.
football guy that
Tebow,
was.
like
Tebow, I'm
Tebowing.
sorry.
People actually thought he was the
It's
second.
why it
No,
matters anyway.
people actually
Guys,
thought he was the second
guys.
coming of Jesus.
Yeah, the idea was he scored like a really important touchdown or something, and then he's like, "Thank you, Jesus."
Oh, okay.
Because of
what
course
every
Jesus is really concerned with football games, but really hates starving people.
Well, that's what every sports person does anyway.
Yeah. Also, okay, so Cult of Dusty is a YouTube person that I happen to like, and he did a review of this video, and one of the things that he brought up, I want to see what you guys think. It's like, were Christians ever bullied in school?
No, they bullied everyone
Not
else.
really, no.
Obviously not all Christians were bullies, but I never saw, like, it was always the weird kids or the, like, people that were really, like, physically weak or meek looking that people just made targets.
I mean, maybe if you're, like, really, really extreme about it, people might talk about you a little bit behind your back, which I think is totally wrong, but, like...
Yeah, I'd much rather than talk it to in their face.
No.
No, I would. I'd say if you're a crazy person in high school, you should have that people tell you that to your face.
I mean,
self-esteem is for wussies.
I was a bullied
That's
person.
right.
I'll raise my hand and speak.
Go, Dante.
Because I was a victim of being bullied in school. So the main people who were bullied in school were people who are short, people who wore glasses, people who were deemed ugly, people who didn't wear the same clothes as everybody else did. Once in a while, it would be somebody who's like really deep in the religion, reading the book, looking very meek. But it was always the look. It was always a look, and not the fact that they were Christian.
So it's not the content.
It's not really
just
content. It's like because they had this one kid. He was very shy, very soft spoken. He was about my size, and he just walked around. He always talked about God and everything, and people were like, "Yeah, he's gay. He's gay. There's something wrong with him." But other than that, almost everyone believed in God, even me at that time. But people didn't get picked on for believing in God. Actually, there was one person who they were a Muslim, and people picked on that person. They didn't call him terrorist back. Well, the terrorist thing wasn't really big back then.
It wasn't. I was in school. Wait,
but,
when were you in high school?
I graduated in 2002.
Oh,
So,
I was in second grade.
Yeah, so before then, it was just like, oh yeah, she's wearing funny clothes, but that was it. It wasn't because she was really. That was about it.
Okay, so thank you.
Yep.
Good stuff.
No problem.
Ellie.
I think I understand where these people are coming from with their video. They've been used to being the dominating force in American culture, and now with the rise of secularism, like 20% of people say they are unaffiliated with religion. They're seeing their power crumble, and they're not used to it. I mean, most of the stuff they're complaining about is people not wanting them to be the dominating force in a place, which is how it should be. No, not one viewpoint, not even atheism, should be the dominating force. Because when you have one viewpoint that shoves out all others, you destroy discussion, you destroy diversity, you destroy everything that makes, freedom of speech wonderful. And I think that this is a reaction to that slow decline and equalizing force. They don't want to give up power. No one does.
I agree with that. I actually agree with that a lot, but I don't think it's just that. I think it's just the fact that they've been taught to believe that they are like the true religion, that they are the best. Mm-hmm. So it's not just the fact that their power is declining. It's the fact that they genuinely... It's like both. I mean, it's like challenging
the bubble.
Yeah, it's challenging them, yeah.
It's like, wait, but I'm not perfect and made in the image of God? What?
Exactly, yeah. You're challenging their beliefs, and at the same time, like you said, their power is also declining. So they're just going, like, off the wall.
It's like, and I think that's definitely
Nobody
true.
likes it.
Like, but I mean, like, especially for something that's tenuous, because, like, if the government or something of a country is like, yeah, well, we say goes because we have absolute power over all of the weapons.
North Korea.
That's a tangible, like, okie dokie, put the guns down. But if you say we're the ultimate power because this book says so, that's a very tenuous position to be in.
Just whip out a
and that's why like a lot of the arguments people have aren't really like this is the evidence and this is why we should be the chosen people. It's a bunch of lies. It's like evolution never happened. The Bible did. And it's just lying. It's repeated lies that it's like you'll hear an argument created by one like influential philosophical person with a religious bent, and even if it's completely disproven, it'll be brought up 100 million times by like various groups because once they have an idea, it just is rolled with.
I think it might be the fact that they roll with those ideas though, because they're in denial. I mean, that's all they have to cling to, so they just cling to it like
which is really sad, especially roping the children into it.
That's kind of how I look at them. I mean, it's sad what they're going through. It's
I totally agree.
Childish. You feel pity for these people.
I don't even know. I agree, but I think we do have to be careful because pitying people, although the intention is good, it's still pretty rude.
Yeah.
So I mean, understand that the people are in a weird position. And try your best to educate, I guess.
The main issue is that it's going against the grain. We've been conditioned to believe that if it's common, it's good, and it's normal. So when you have something like secularism come by, or atheism, or even if another religion, even if Buddhism was to come in and have a foothold, it would be deemed wrong, rude, intrusive. And then, like you said, the whole bubble.
Even though there are very few people I know of who are parading through the streets saying that religion should die and we should be an atheist country. All hail Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
Almost everything I hear is atheistic groups, or not even secular groups is probably a better word, saying religion A, you're trampling on the rights of these people. You shouldn't do that anymore. You should stay within your perfectly fair allotment of space, just like everybody else. And then that affront of their perceived authority is seen as offensive. It's just they're literally being treated like everybody else is offensive.
But when you're a special snowflake, you have to be treated better than everyone else.
Every snowflake is special and different, new to it.
And that makes none of them special.
Exactly.
Yes.
Can I get back to the Army thing? Because this brought back a memory. Because I remember I had a friend in high school who was very religious, and she was telling me the one time about how at her church she did this nursery. She was one of the nursery school teacher people. She didn't actually sit through the she would go and teach and help out with the Sunday school kids. And
you need them to be brainwashed before the.
Yeah, I remember she was telling me about this song she would sing with them or something. It was like I might never ride a helicopter and I might never shoot a gun, but I'm in the Lord's army. And it just. I don't know. I remember thinking that really, really bothered me. I don't want the kids to be thinking about being in any army at that point in their life. These were 3-4 years, kids who were really little, and then if you bring kids up like that, they're gonna say things in this video we're in a war right now, War means violence. War means guns. War means
harming somebody else.
It's no, Izzy. It's a war of ideas.
As an ex-soldier, I know exactly what you mean. I'll be honest with you. The military has a lot of indoctrination to it. They'll tell you that's the enemy, and you have to fight like you've never fought before. You must utterly destroy them. And when you instill that into a child, more than likely they're going to go with it. And then when they grow up, it's stuck pretty bad. To the point where good luck trying to get it out of their brains.
There are people that have, though. There are people that have de-indoctrinated.
Yeah, and it's harsh on them.
And they're some of the most interesting people because they fully explain what it was like. I remember there's a group in England somewhere who this woman who is an ex-Christian runs a therapy group for people who are still scared to death of hell, even though they're no longer religious.
That's just frightening.
I mean, if you're brought up being told that if you do something wrong, you're going to go to hell.
Well, even more, it's someone is always watching you.
That someone is always watching you.
And they will know if you do anything wrong.
And that's frightening.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see if these people had more mental problems because stress and fear. There's some strenuous studies that kind of hint at that. More research needs to be done.
The main thing that I see with this video, at least, is that these people that are the leaders of these religious organizations, they need to continue this sort of mentality that everyone's after us and everyone is against us in order to keep up with the controlling of people's minds.
They need to continue the lying.
That's what it is. And the organization of these groups getting together and everybody fighting with each other is just a form of tribalism. And
Mine's related to the video. Okay. There's two things. This is the kind of thing, the forced victimhood that is instilled in a lot of these people. One of them is like 1962. Prayer is illegal in schools. Lie. The only thing it says is that teachers can no longer forcibly make people pray anymore. You can pray as much as you want, as long as it doesn't like you have to take a math test now. I'm sorry, I'm praying. You're not allowed to do that. It's also the Bible. In 1963, the Bible was made unconstitutional. No, it wasn't. It was taken out of science classes. There are still a lot of schools that include the Bible as like humanities or some other thing, but people want the authority of science behind it. But this is what I'm talking about, is like the forced indoctrination, trying to promote something, and the only way you can promote it is by lying.
Well, the question is, do they even know that they're lying? Because these are kids that we're talking about in this video.
No, they were programmed.
The kids probably don't. Some of the adults, I cannot understand how they couldn't know that they're lying.
Well, maybe it's the fact that they're just so convinced that they are right that they're deluding themselves into lying. Because I know that
compartmentalization is a very powerful
people
ability.
Can like convince themselves that they are doing the right thing and that what they're doing isn't wrong.
Cherry picking.
I'm going to the outright extreme. Serial killers can totally think that they're doing a completely justified act. And so the human mind is powerful and terrifying.
I think Axel wanted to say something.
Yes, Axel was.
Yeah, there was an article online. I didn't get the chance to read it yet because I was on Facebook.
It's actually good. Like, it's picking up everyone beautifully.
Oh, cool.
I was reading an article right before I was on Facebook browsing right before class, and I didn't have enough time to read it, but there was an article, I believe, out of England. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was England, where it said, like, they made up Jesus Christ. Like, he didn't even exist historically. Did anyone see that article?
I saw the title, and I saw a rebuttal to it saying it was a misleading title. But I want to read the article, too. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a misleading title, but also that is technically accurate. Like, there's like extremely tenuous support that Jesus ever existed.
Well, if you
even as just a historical figure, but the problem with that is it doesn't matter. Even if there was 100% like this is when he was born, this is when he died, and this guy totally existed, it doesn't prove anything. It just proves some guy named Jesus existed.
Yeah, but a lot of people named Jesus exist. However,
the specific Jesus.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but if like especially in there, they're saying we are an army, like Izzy was alluding to, and our commander is Jesus Christ. Well, if this person never existed, then how did these theories come about? Like, who created this?
They're rebels without a cause.
Well, I mean, Jesus didn't really create the religion at all.
Yeah,
right?
I know, but I'm saying, but they're like,
did.
they're saying this is what he did, this is what he said, that's why we're following it.
Well, I remember, like, someone told me one time about this theory that Christianity was created by Jesus' disciples as a way to build an earthly kingdom. So basically what's implied by that is that they just made up all this stuff about Jesus in order to control people.
The one thing is they didn't make up a lot of it. They took it from other cultures.
Oh, okay. Well, they incorporated
stuff
about Jesus.
It was an amalgamation of a whole lot of different historical documents, and it was a bunch of different folk stories.
Right. I mean,
it's the grim fairy tales of the first century.
If you think about it, that's brilliant, but it's basically just a way to, like, control people, to gain power.
I remember there was a scene in Religulous, if you've ever seen that.
Yes.
Where he said to some woman, he said, if, these Bible stories, if they were mixed in with your fairy tales, in your fairy tale book, would you be able to tell the difference? And the lady was like, well, of course I would be able to tell the difference. But, I'm thinking, no, you wouldn't. It's
like some of the stories are, like, beyond most levels of ridiculous, which is fine. Which is perfectly fine for an awesome storybook.
Well, the thing is that most of these people...
Well, I interrupted Oxo, I'm sorry.
No, I think I'm done. But what I was trying to get at is, if what you just stated is true, that they just came up with like a whole bunch of took things from a whole bunch of different cultures and they just made up everything, like nothing actually happened, but it was just a bunch of different recollections or stories or even myths, if you want to take it that far, then these people don't really have an argument.
No, and the thing is, like, to even have an army bent on whatever, they have to decide which parts of the Bible they're going to follow anyway. So they're just going to be like, we are You could legitimately create an army trying to do nothing but destroy seafood.
Yeah.
Kill all the fish. Jesus told us to.
My professor told us the easiest way to create a war against biology is to put poisons in the coffee pots at universities, and you will destroy science.
Why would you tell them that?
Wait, I don't get it.
Don't give away their
Oxa's
secret.
lying.
No,
You
don't.
can't kill science. It's impossible.
This is something I brought up.
Don't spread it around, internet people.
Great, now some clown is actually going to do it.
Wait, so you
Poisoning people is bad,
try and
kids.
kill off all like.
No, if you wanted to kill off like all
Poisoning the
scientists,
biology teachers.
Oh.
the idea
Yeah.
is just put poison in the coffee pot.
Yeah.
Well,
All the
I drink coffee too.
Yeah, so
You're not a scientist.
Yeah,
You're collateral
scientists,
damage.
like biologists and like engineers, I think. Or,
We always drink coffee.
Yeah, it's the two like most common job or whatever job that drink the most amount of coffee. It's like engineers and biologists.
We're the ones that run really long experiments that make us have to stay up forever.
Yeah, and, like
We're
read
giving
lots
away
of
the
papers
secret,
to keep
though.
current.
Don't
like,
forget
research.
the computer programmers.
No, that's Monster. And
What
like
about
Foxconn.
film people who have to stay up all night editing?
5-hour energy drinks.
You could just
I
go
don't
to
know what you
sleep.
guys do, but we drink coffee.
No, deadlines are deadlines.
You just change them.
All
No, you can't.
Thank you for your time.
Because you can waste a ton of money.
It was nice meeting you.
Moving on.
Bye, Axa.
I drink water, so I'm
I
good.
come back. How long is this running?
Until 7?
7? Yeah, I might be back in like half an hour.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. All right.
Oh yeah, Steven, we take a 15-minute break in 15 minutes because we only allowed to have a 45-minute podcast on Spreaker. So then we'll take a short break. We can
Do you
all.
want to watch the second video or?
Do you want to? The second video is like 4 minutes. Do you want to?
Yeah, sure.
We could do it now, or we could hold it off and make
We
that
can
be
always
the
make it
second
the
half.
second
We can cram it in. Yeah.
Will we put it in the second part again?
Well, I can always find more videos.
I was
Let's
I was
have a
responding
vote.
to my
Does anyone want to have a vote?
vote on what?
Standing.
Not really. I prefer dictatorships.
Yeah.
Democracies.
I'm leaving the
Oh,
army.
you'll
out.
like our constitution.
He does not
Yay.
So like,
represent
as far as the pop culture,
I don't care.
Hey,
He
Dave,
makes
as far as
decisions for me. I don't have to think.
Yes.
As far as
love
pop culture,
Obama,
we're also
right?
going to go into how it's portrayed
Yes.
in like TV shows and.
That can be the next half of the show.
Excellent, excellent. Because I do have a nice little tidbit on that. It's pretty
All right,
interesting.
so everyone, this is God's Not Dead.
Yes.
This is a new movie that's coming out in a couple of weeks or months. I don't care. I don't entirely remember who produced it, but it is a doozy.
Oh,
so
sweet tape
enjoy, internet people.
Yay.
Narf. Look at a raptor.
You prayed and believed your whole life, and here you are. Explain that to me.
In a few minutes, you guys are going to go out there and sing about God and Jesus as if they're as real as you and me.
To us, they are as real. A 12-year-old watches his mother die of cancer. God would allow that. He's not going to believe in it. Life is really a tale told by an idiot full of silent and fury and signifying nothing.
Wheaton, Josh Wheaton, philosophy 115. You might want to think about a different instructor. Come on, man, you can't be that bad.
Think Roman Coliseum, people cheering for your death. I'm Professor Radisson. This is philosophy 150. I would like to bypass senseless debate altogether and jump to the conclusion, which every sophomore is already aware of, there is no God. All that I require from each of you is that you fill in the papers I've just given you with 3 little words: God is dead. Mr. Wheaton, is something wrong?
I can't do what you want. I'm a Christian.
You cannot bring yourself to admit that God is dead, and you will need to defend the antithesis.
I think of Jesus as my friend. You think Jesus is God? I don't want to disappoint him. So your acceptance of this challenge may be the only meaningful exposure to God and Jesus that I'll have. But to me, he's not dead. I don't want anyone to get talked out of believing in him just because this professor thinks they should.
Mr. Wheaton, are you ready? We're going to put God on trial. You think you're smarter than me? In that classroom, there is a God. I'm him.
This experiment is over. You get to decide who the most important person in your life is. Me, Professor Radisson.
I have to do this thing. I feel like it's something that God wants me to do. I can't just turn away from it.
You just want to ensnare them in your primitive superstition.
What I want is for them to make their own choice. That's what God wants.
You have no idea how much I would enjoy failing you.
Yeah, who are you going
dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, growing like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, growing like a lion.
Science supports his existence. You know the truth. So why do you hate him? It's a very simple question. Why do you hate God?
God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, growing like a lion.
What?
Okay.
Most
So,
honest reaction.
That was Hercules, man.
who is?
Kevin Sorbo, the professor. That was from the show Hercules. I
That's
just
what
realized
Jacqueline
that.
Glenn said on her show.
It
All
did.
right. So, I don't remember, like I said before, I don't exactly remember who produced this, but it wasn't us either. We do not take credit for this video in any possible way. Okay, so, opening thoughts.
I like how it represents everything that the Christian right is afraid of. Education environment, college, someone who believes something different, and someone who's actually willing to defend it. And of course he's this overly cartoony, angry, everything in my life is terrible, therefore I hate God.
Did you see him? Like, he's like, I can't, you don't know how much I would love failing you. And you looked, he was about to start crying. It was like, really, because this is how all atheists act. You called us Christians, this is how atheists are. We just hate God, it's terrible.
The interesting thing about that trailer, though, was the fact that even though it represented everything that Christians are afraid of, it said that he's presenting this debate so people can make their own choice, which I found interesting because it just doesn't really.
That's
go
like the
along with
antithesis of what people want.
It's going like against what the Christians want. Basically, they want people to accept it, but then he's saying, "I want you to choose."
Do you know what would be an awesome end to the movie? It's like everyone's just like, excuse me, okay, his name is Josh Whedon.
Which I think
that's
is
got to be intentional.
Extremely.
That was I think
misguided.
the Amazing Atheist went through this movie and he was just like, did they do that on purpose? Did they were just like, oh, Joss Whedon's in this? What? For those who don't know, Joss Whedon, he's a famous actor, producer.
He's a director. He directed.
He does
Avengers.
bloody everything.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Everyone should like Joss Whedon. But I swear they had to have done that on purpose. And that's another thing that the Amazing Atheist brought up, but that's not important. I'm just trying to give credit where credit is due.
My favorite part is at the beginning when the guy's like questioning this poor little old lady, and she's just like sitting there like with her jaw hanging open. She's like looking like the saddest little old lady in the world. And the guy's like, "You've prayed your whole life, and you're still here. What does that tell you?"
No, this is seriously what Colleen was saying. It's just like
it makes atheists look like assholes.
It has to make atheists look like assholes because if they saw us as normal people, then they couldn't be angry at us.
Controversy creates cash. It's just that simple. That's what they're doing.
And there's also like bursting into tears if someone gets by a car. Like,
yeah, that's
action.
Like, how do they even put action in this movie? They're just like, I'm gonna go get my shoes cleaned, and then they get hit by a car.
Because I thought that he fell in the car, and I was like, is this an action movie? Or
he went like into the windshield. Like that was a pretty wicked impact.
We have to add action so they get more people into this movie.
Maybe he was just about to make a conversion, and then he went through a windshield, and oops, his brain got shredded, so he can't convert. He's going to hell.
That's so horrible. I mean, okay, so.
They would totally
okay, so just to reiterate.
You're like dying over here.
Just to reiterate, guys. There is like, I've never seen a professor ever open a lecture with, okay, so God doesn't exist, and if you think differently, then you have to do a giant project.
Especially a philosophy professor who's someone like who is really
the first thing I want to know is what the hell that class is.
Well, he said philososophy.
Yeah, there's a lot of philosophy classes. Right. I want to know if it's just like, oh yeah, I decided to take Atheism 101.
Yeah,
because you know how that's a class. Okay, we're all laughing because of how ridiculous this trailer is. Everything about it. It's like, you have to tell me that God is dead or you're not allowed to proceed in the class.
They wouldn't even allow that.
It's
I would not join that class.
Yes.
Even I, as an atheist, I'd be like,
No, I mean, because technically it's intellectual. No, I mean, I would ask, like, what do you mean? Do you mean the idea of God is unsubstantiated? Because I'll write that down.
Well, the thing of it is, like, philosophy teachers, like they're supposed to teach thinking. Like you're supposed to teach how to think for yourself. Like a philosophy teacher, like I'm sure maybe there's some crazy philosophy teacher out there.
I don't know.
It's
I
certainly
have
not
a very
the
bad
majority.
opinion of philosophy.
I know you do.
And the internet people know that.
I think I noticed. I just thought of something based off what Izzy said. He put what he thought was an unending truth down and said, "You will believe this, or you cannot be with me." What does that sound like?
God.
Ta-da!
So it's kind of
projection.
Yeah, this is a huge case of projection.
It's kind of hard to picture him as an atheist when he has already portrayed a dogmatic stance. in
Yeah,
that case.
like obviously there are dogmatic atheists.
Yeah.
But only in the loosest possible definition of that word. This guy is he's a caricature. It's plain and simple. People like this guy, although I'm sure they exist in the world, are the disgustingly low minority of the minority of people that don't believe in a god.
Like Stalin.
So that must mean like 6 people.
I thought you were going to go Godwin's
So, I mean, but I would like to, even though he is the most extreme form of atheist, note that he is the extreme form of...
It's like, I actually have to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Because the way they're portraying him is not as an atheist, but as a religious person who has been running away from religion.
Yes.
Because they're portraying him as someone who hates God. By definition, if you hate God, you're not an atheist.
Well, yeah, that's like, I remember
You can hate the idea or what's written about him.
I saw something...
But those are different things.
Like, because I was, like, just so fascinated this summer by Kirk Cameron's channel on YouTube. And he's going on, he's like, yeah, I used to be an atheist, but one of the things that you have to do as an atheist, I'm like, first of all, you don't really have to do anything to prove you're an atheist. But anyway, he's like...
Yeah, here's the proof of atheism. Are you an atheist? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, and like he said, and he's like, you have to hate God if you're an atheist. And he's like, and why would you spend so much time hating God if you don't believe in Him? I'm like, okay, what?
No, you see, here's the idea. I don't hate God. I think the idea of Him is a malevolent monster, but He's a fictional character. What I really despise is what people do in that fake character's name. Those actions are despicable.
Yeah.
Also, I happen to be an atheist.
Just getting back to that idea of what people do in the name of God. It's just ironic that they just distort his teachings and say, I do it in the name of God. It's contradictory. I mean, you go out and kill someone because they're not Christian, and the Bible says, thou shalt not kill.
But it also says if people are not Christian, you should go out and kill them.
Exactly, it's contradictory.
And the reason, and this goes back to our previous conversation, it's because you amalgamate a huge bunch of different unrelated stories and then try it's kind of if you opened your bottom drawer from middle school and took all of your English papers and tried to combine them into one coherent story. It's like
a very interesting analogy.
It's like that report I did on Julius Caesar. I'm going to combine that with Raisin in the Sun. I'm going to throw in that book report on Spain. It's like that's the idea.
And an essay I wrote for English about how I helped a homeless man.
Yeah, so you can say it's like Julius Caesar is God, help the homeless, and what was Raisin in the Sun about?
Dreams withering and dying. It was a segregation era.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
But yeah, so there you go.
It's a chimera.
I just created Christianity. Congratulations.
You created a chimera of a belief. That's basically what you did.
Yes, I said that, Christianity.
Hey!
But I think the biggest, just a little bit on the side, the biggest contradiction of all is let's use the whole war thing that Izzy was talking about earlier. You will have this group of guys who are mostly religious go on the war, and this group of guys that's mostly religious go on the war, and they believe in the same God and the same religion, but a different sect of it. So these guys have prayed all night, I hope I win this war. And these guys pray all night and say, I hope I win this war. And they're about to fight. So who does God root for?
Clearly whoever won. And if you follow the Bible, that means you have to give your daughter because you promised your daughter as a blood sacrifice if you won the battle.
Daughters.
Gotta follow. but don't worry, she can go out in the forest and bewail her virginity first.
Wait, what?
What?
These are real Bible
right,
stories.
Right, yeah.
He promised that which first exits the the front of my house upon my arrival at home, and of course his little daughter comes out with timbrels and dances. Of course, because that's totally how you greet your father after a hard day's war.
Ching, 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 ching,
Yeah.
ching, ching. Hello, Daddy.
But then, of course, no. But the thing is, like, everyone kind of goes over the story to Abraham, and it's like, oh, wasn't God so merciful? This other story, he wasn't. He's like, yes, you promised a burnt offering, kill your daughter.
Slice that chick.
The story of
And
Abraham got me thinking first of how much of a monster God is. I mean, besides for the end where he says, "Oh, never mind, man. I was joking with you. You don't have to do it."
We can do it. We can have a whole show about our favorite Bible stories.
Yes. Oh no.
Well, I especially like the one about the guys with the penises like donkeys and the admission of a horse.
What?
It's interesting. I
That is in
actually
there,
don't
yes.
know the majority of these because, like, when I was a churchgoer, I had a children's Bible, and they admit, get rid of all the like really weird stuff. They just keep in like Esther was a great person, and like Jesus was a great person.
Yeah, I noticed that they like to omit the weird crap and just focus on the.
And also they say things in plain English, unlike the Bible.
I saw a book today in the supermarket. It said King James Version Bible for African American children. I'm not lying. And matter of fact, I'm going to go
they
back to
omit
that.
all the slavery, I imagine.
I don't know what they did. I didn't read through the whole
But
thing.
did they keep the part about the giant genitalia?
I looked through Leviticus and I really didn't see too much. I skimmed through it, but I'm actually really contemplating buying it just to actually look at it.
Do it.
And
Should buy it from a used bookstore.
Don't pay all.
I'll support used bookstores forever. I don't support the people that sell this crap.
Well, that's the thing, like, with a movie like this, like, I kind of do want to see it just because I think it would be amusing, but, like, I don't want to give them any money. I don't want to support
We have to
any
find
of my
some
money.
way to get it for free, and then I'll do a viewing of it.
I just don't understand.
You can give them the money. You can give them the money to destroy it.
As a group,
That's
we are not allowed to
disgusting.
steal things.
Okay.
I just don't understand.
I do not have
children's
control.
Bibles.
I do not have control of your own personal actions.
Give them the money, then destroy the video.
I don't
Verbally.
understand children's Bibles. It's like the most disgusting thing I can think about because the Bible's already a disgusting book and you're marketing it towards children.
But you give them the pretty version so that
Yeah, you
when
give
they're
them
older,
the one
they
that's
think they
wrapped up
read
in
it
a bow.
already.
Well, I even remember there was this one part, there was this one story, and it was this guy, and he was trying to make an army, but there was, like, too many people in the army, and he said, God, there's too many people in this army, how do I get rid of people? And, like, he said, oh, well, go have them drink from the river, and the people who, lick with their tongue, send them home, but people who, like, cup the water with their hands, keep them.
Who
And I
cups
remember,
of water?
and I remember, like, I asked my mom about this because I was like maybe 6 or something, and I asked my mom, I'm like what's going on with this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And she's like, oh yeah, the Old Testament's weird. Like, at this point we were like on the way out.
So it's like, and let's all note that the Ten Commandments are in the Old Testament.
Ooh,
Awesome.
And it depends on which ones you feel like looking at.
But overall,
Yeah, there's like
Yeah,
400.
there's several sets of the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
I just, the one thing that I can't grasp my head or wrap my head around about Christianity is the fact that they say that there's this all-loving, magical sky daddy who will love you forever, but if you don't bow down and worship him, you'll go to a pit of fire for all eternity. That doesn't make sense.
It's almost as if it was written by primitive men.
Exactly.
Either that, someone who wanted a sugar daddy.
God is the ultimate sugar daddy.
What does that say?
I bet the Jews did this. He's holding up a picture.
Wow.
With, tangled Christmas lights. Ah, get it.
Stop being a dick, Greg.
Language.
A dick is a penis. It is a
It's
phallic
not a
object.
nice word for a penis, though. You could have just said stop being a penis.
Stop being a phallus.
Stop being what's the PC version of penis?
Penis is the technical term.
Whacker.
Genitalia.
All right, stop.
Peter, schlong.
Anyways,
Schlong, that's the first one.
we're going off topic.
Wang, wang, wang.
Okay.
Yeah, we have 20 seconds left.
We are 12
Finish
years
it.
old.
All right, when we are 12 years old, we are going to continue talking about this video and possibly show another one in 15 minutes. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll be right back. Enjoy your short break. Goodbye.
That was the most